will be a major slowdown because just of the policies are so different. Who knows? Memphis in May, so I'm on a bunch of boards, so I'll tell you about that and why I'm on the board. So I learned early in my career, we're talking 25 years back, that, you know, people do business with friends, people that they trust and they know and everything else. How better to rub elbows with people you would never have a chance to meet? By me I'm on the Memphis in May board, as Bubba mentioned, and their past chairman, and I'm being set up to be chairman again. And that's never actually happened in the career of Memphis in May. I'm the past chair of the Liberty Bowl, and past president. I'm the present president of the Hotel Association, Memphis. I'm on the board and executive committee of the State Hotel Association and their past president. I'm on the national.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah.
Wayne Tabor's granddaughter.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. Nah, I love Wayne. I'm on the state, and Wayne is the president, I think, this year of the State Hotel Association. And I'm on the National Hotel Association board. I'm on the board and past chairman of Historic Hotels of the World. I'm on the Orpheum board. Did I mention the chamber? I'm on the chamber's board. I'm on their executive committee and their vice chair. I think that's most of them. And I'm on 2 boards for the University of Memphis. So let's start first with the chamber. The reason why I got on these boards is because when would I ever have a chance to rub elbows with people that would probably normally never even talk to me? So on that board, Fred Smith has been on that board, Pitt Hyde, past Joe Pepe from Commercial Appeal, the president of Smith and Nephew, president of International Paper, all of these people that they'd probably never talk to me. I get the opportunity to sit around the table with them for an hour, 2 hours, and get to know them over a period of years. And so I learned that early in my career, that it really allowed me to get into circles that I normally would never have an opportunity to get into. So I followed that throughout my career. The Orpheum board, it's all the who's who of Memphis is on that board. Memphis in May is without a doubt the most fun board. I'm on that board, although I never thought it was going to be as controversial as it's been in the last couple of years. And I've been right in the thick of it. But again, if it hadn't have been because of Memphis in May, I've had 2 or 3 face-to-face sit-downs with Pitt Hyde, where we've negotiated what's going to happen with Tom Lee Park and everything else. Those kind of things you just wouldn't ever have the opportunity to do. And so it's been great. Liberty Bowl was a fun board. As I mentioned to you earlier, I went to college on an athletic scholarship, played basketball, football, and tennis. I'm aging myself. Nobody plays 3 sports anymore in college, but back then you did. I'm close friends with Penny Hardaway. I sit right behind the bench. I sit right behind Penny Hardaway for every game. I'm on the field. Mike Norvell and I are close friends. I'm on the field for every football game. It's really started with John Calipari. Can I tell them that story? Go ahead.
Sure.
Anybody know who John Calipari is? Yeah, some of you? So you guys haven't learned to hate him like everybody else in Memphis? So John Calipari is the coach for Kentucky. You know who he is, right? Yeah. He's coach for Kentucky. Well, he was coach here. He was coach here for about 10 years. I got here in 2003. About 3 months after I got here, I received a phone call, and it's from John Calipari. He says, "This is John Calipari." Now, I knew of John Calipari from UMass when he was coach there. I wasn't really a Memphis fan, so I really didn't put 2 and 2 together. And he said, "Doug, I need a favor. I've got a coach from North Carolina coming in." Everybody knows who he is, Williams, right? coming in, and I need to get him a room at the Peabody, but you guys are sold out. I said, hold on a second. I checked. I said, Coach, I'll get him in. He said, well, I got another problem. The university is paying for the room, so I really needed it at a discounted rate. I said, I'll just comp it. I'll just take care of it. And he said, really? I said, yeah. So now fast forward over the next 6 months, probably at least 25 times he called me for favors, for people coming in, things happening, whatever. So finally one day, a Sunday, I'm driving to the movies with my son, and my son says, Dad, I really want to go to the Tennessee-Memphis game. Tennessee and Memphis, big rivals. He said, I said, well, I don't know if the hotel still has their tickets, but I'll call. So I called the hotel, tickets are gone. I said, well, let me call John Calipari. And my son says, you know John Calipari? And I said, well, kind of. I'd never actually met him in person. Just talked to him on the phone. So I called John up. Can I use foul language? Do you have to take this part? Because it's not the same if I don't use his language.
Can you use?
I'll blank it out. How's
can
that?
you use an initial or
Okay, I'll
a
use
letter
an
or
initial and
something?
blank it out. So anyway, I called John. I said, John, look, my son and I, we'd really like to go to the Tennessee game. I don't mind paying. Can you get me tickets? He says, oh, that F game is sold out, but you're effing going to that game. And I said, John, don't worry about it. He says, no, you're going to that game. Monday, I'll call you. Sure enough, Monday he calls me. He says, Lanitha's going to meet you. Lanitha's his assistant. Is going to meet you right outside the FedEx Forum. She'll get you to your seats. I said, oh, great. So I told my son, we're probably up in the nosebleed section somewhere, but we're going to the game. We get there, Lanitha meets me, security. She says, security is going to take you to your seats. We don't have actual tickets for your seat. He's going to take you to your seat. We walk in, we go down, and he puts us right on the bench. And I said, well, this has got to be a mistake. You know, I'm sure we're not sitting on the bench. He says, no, this is exactly where I was told to put you. So I sat on the bench. Not soon after that, 15 minutes, the team comes out. John Calipari comes out. Memphis, he was a rock star. You know, he's got his game face on. The game starts. Halftime comes. They're right about tied. They head to the locker rooms. I'm sitting on the bench quietly with my son. And John Calipari gets to half court and he stops. He turns around. And of course, everybody is watching him. The media, everybody turns around and he walks back and he walks right up and he says, Doug? He shakes hands with me and I said, yes, sir. This must be Dakota. And he shakes hands with my son. He says, these are your seats for the rest of the season. And he turns around and walks away. So from that point on, I stayed in those seats. Now let's fast forward. The following year was the year we went to San Antonio, Final Four. Do you remember that? Those of you who are Memphians. And we're in conference play. We're playing UAB. And it's a day game, and I turned to our director of sales and marketing and said, do you want to go to the game with me? He says, oh, hell yeah. He gets to sit on the bench, so we're at the game. There's about 4 minutes left in the game. Memphis is up by 32 points. I turned to Craig and I said, Craig, we need to go back to work. He says, you're going to leave in the middle of the game? I said, the game's almost over. They're winning. Next time out, we're getting up. We got to go. I got to get back to work. Okay. So we leave, we get to the hotel, I get in my office, I turn the TV on and watch the game. We win by 34 points. Not 60 seconds after the game, my phone rings. And it's John Calipari. I go, John, where the F did you go? I said, John, I had to go back to work. You can't effing leave in the middle of a game. I said, I'm so sorry, John, but I had to go back to work. You're our effing lucky charm. You can't leave. I said, John, you were up by 32 points, right? He says, don't ever leave. That Sunday was Selection Sunday. So I get invited to his house. I'm at his house with the team and the media and everything else. I walk in. He has an Italian wife who's about this tall, Ellen, right? She walks up to me and she puts her arm around me and she says, Doug, let's go for a walk. And she takes me outside and she says, don't ever leave in the middle of a game. I said, Ellen, really? And she says, he is so superstitious, you're his lucky charm, don't ever leave in the middle of a game. I said, okay. So anyway, long story short, really quick, he leaves, goes to Kentucky, Josh comes in, I get my seats, no problem. Tubby comes, I get my seats. Penny's there, I still get my seats. I don't think Penny thinks of me as a lucky charm, he just thinks of me as a friend and a golf partner. But here's the funny part of the story. He goes to Kentucky, his first year is outstanding, he goes to Final Four. It's the year of John Wall and all of those guys, right? Remember? The following year, he's got the worst team in the nation. He can't win a game, right? He's coming to play Ole Miss. He calls me up, he says, Doug, can you meet me down at Ole Miss? And I said, yeah. He says, I'll have a seat for you. We'll go to dinner after. I said, great. So I drive down with my good buddy, Willie Gregory, with Nike, and we drive down. He puts us right on the bench, right? Las Vegas, I know none of you gamble, but Las Vegas had odds that Ole Miss was going to beat Kentucky by 14 points. Las Vegas is never wrong. You check the odds, they are usually very close on their odds of winning. They had Ole Miss beating Kentucky by 14 points. Kentucky beat Ole Miss by 11 points. Walking back to the locker room, the media stops John Calipari and says, what do you attribute this turnaround? And he said, I had my lucky charm. Ready for questions? Anything else?
Yeah, question.